Hello everyone and welcome to Wednesday's Talking Reds in association with Take Time. My name is Mo Stewart. This man is called Rob Gutmann. Now it's been a little bit of a kind of hard week for Liverpool fans. It's not quite been going as well as we'd wanted to. There's a little bit of malaise. Everyone's not quite sure how to feel. So with it being Wednesday, I feel like it's our responsibility, the middle of the week, 3 whole days before more football, to inject a bit of positivity into everyone's day.
I thought I was going to get to whinge first and say it's been a bitch of a week, Mo. It's been a horrible week.
No. You can accentuate the bitching first.
I'm allowed to be sad. We sat here a week ago. Then had just lost to Newcastle. We were about to play Leicester at home and beat Leicester at home and extend the lead to 7 points and be about to be off into the sunset. But then this week happened. No disasters have happened, but there is a swing that's happened. The balloon, in terms of where we thought we could be. The
balloon's got a slow puncture. It's not been popped. It's just a little bit like, and with slow punches, you're right, they can be corrected. We can get the sellotape out and it might not look as great, but it'll still do the job. But anyway, positivity. There has been some positive news in the last 24 hours. Liverpool have announced their Champions League squad for the knockout stages, and there is the name of Oxlade-Chamberlain within that squad. So that's great news, the idea that he's going to be available for those games. Obviously, we still don't know which games and how much is going to be involved, but again, it's another positive boost for the rest of the squad, I think.
Yeah, it's a psychological boost at a time where there's a building narrative that injuries are catching up with us. So I think it's nice to have that sort of mood music back in play. I can go optimistic and I can go slightly more pessimistic with Chamberlain, in as much as, yes, he's clearly ahead of schedule. We'd all been made to write him off at the beginning of the season. We could see him back on the bench within a month from now. That's not beyond the bounds possibility. But there's also at least as much chance that the rehabilitation is slow and needs to be for this sort of injury. And that we can't expect. There's one thing having Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain back, say that again, there's quite another thing having the version of him that's been out for a year back. It could take him 6-9 months to be the player he was.
I think the main issue here is, at the moment, we're in a situation where it feels like it's the physio picking the team rather than the manager. And you hope that we don't get into a situation where we need to use him before we're ready to use him. But generally, this is positive news, as you say. We can all start to imagine an Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain towards the end of the season. And like I said previously, he doesn't need to be the same as he has been yet. If he can affect just one game, just add maybe 3 points that would have been won, then that will be it. That's his job done for this season. There was another name on that squad list which kind of went under the radar to everyone else, but it's kind of piqued both of our interests. Stewart Brewster is named on it. Now, obviously, when it comes to youth players in Champions League squads, there is no limit to how many of them you can add. So it doesn't mean that he's kind of taken someone else's place. But it's interesting that he's been put on there. Now, there are possible reasons why I've been floating these around. One would be that Jurgen Klopp wants to use it as a carrot to him in his rehabilitation, as if to say, look, when you're ready, these are the kind of games you're going to be in. 2, his rehabilitation is further along than we thought, and he might be ready to start affecting games sooner rather than later. Or 3, and this one's courtesy of Neil Atkinson literally 10 minutes ago, that he's not planning to use him this season at all, but he's reinforcing the idea that you are in my first team plans. This is where you're going to be from next season. Now,
I'm going to debunk Neil's theory because the player's not stupid. And he'd go, cheers, boss. Literally, what was the point of that? if he's got no chance, then putting him in is pointless and patronising. And I think Neil's totally wrong there. I think he's in the squad for the reason that there is a possibility that he is available and fit. How much so? Yeah, I think your first theory is it an extra bit of motivation, stop the play getting downhearted, even if Klopp thinks there's only a 5% chance, then maybe he does it. There's an argument that's saying, not an argument, there's a view that says maybe Klopp has tended to manage expectations of when players are returning from injury by being slightly more pessimistic in his press pronouncement. So Chamberlain was all but written out for the entire season.
Yes.
Lo and behold, he seems to be now ahead of schedule. Is he ahead of schedule or is he on the actual schedule?
There does seem to be a lot of misguidance from Klopp, specifically about injury. I mean,
Joe Gomez, Klopp goes, I don't even want to put a date on it, which leads everyone else to go, he's out for the season. Dave Maddock in the Mirror, who clearly had some reasonable information, then goes, he's not actually behind the original schedule here. Could be back at some point in March.
When you hear the word surgery, you instantly think, oh, well, that's it. We're not going to see him for a long time. You think crutches, you think long rehabilitation. But when you look into the details of it, it seems like it's more of a corrective thing and it's quite a minor surgery, as minor surgery can be. So you're right, it might not necessarily disrupt the timeline, which is really good news because I think every Liverpool fan out there right now knows the value of having Joe Gomez back alongside Virgil, big time.
I think putting Brewster in there is significant. You know, there's no limit on the young players they could put in. He could have put in the whole under-23 squad.
Kijana Hoever's in there as well.
Kijana Hoever, and rightly so, because Kijana Hoever has played a first-team game. And he's now 17. It feels like he's a year older. I think he turned 17 the day after he made his debut at 16. So, but you know, at this rate, Kijana Hoever's going to see some action. I think we'll see Brewster back sooner than we think.
I like the sound of that. You made me feel happy. Now, obviously, I mentioned there's still 3 days before Liverpool's next game. But there is a game tonight that affects us in the title race, and I feel like, well, more Rob feels like we have to at least broach the subject. So let's broach the subject. Manchester City will be playing tonight at Goodison Park against Everton in a game that's been brought forward due to their cup commitments in both domestic cups. So Everton aren't in a lot of great form. There's been a lot of talk about the fact that Everton fans will be hoping for their team to roll over. Is it?
Everton are playing abysmally at the moment. They are utter shite, and I'm being more positive than their own fans by using that description. A friend of mine tweeted yesterday that said something. She's an Evertonian, and she said, "Let's stick with the cute narrative that says we want to throw this game, as if Everton have a choice."
Well, see, this was the point that I wanted to make, is the fact that it is hilarious, the fact that they feel like they have any choice in the matter. The reason why Everton will not beat Manchester City is not because they don't want Liverpool to win the league. It's because Everton aren't good enough to beat Manchester City. Now, I would be amazed and delighted to be proven wrong. But does anyone actually think that's going to happen?
I have to say though, you know what? There's a lot of talk about people enjoying or not enjoying this title race or getting nervous or what have you. I kind of think if you want to, I think what you should do, whether you feel happy or sad or tense or calm, what you've got to do is milk every bit of experience from it.
Yeah.
And to my mind, if you're in a two-horse race, what the other side does matter, and it's not giving them the satisfaction or over-attention or obsession with them. It just does matter because every point they drop is effectively a point for us. Liverpool need we've got effectively a 3-point lead, so we need 14 games to go. So 13 wins more or less wins us the league, give or take a goal difference or two. 13 wins us the league. It becomes less than 13 wins for every point City drop.
True.
So it's important.
It does affect, in as much as it affects what we have to do, you're right, it's important. Yeah. I think there is a sense of us not wanting to obsess too much over it because obviously we want to concentrate more on what we're doing, but you're right, there are certain elements where we do need to take it into account. Now, it's interesting that this game is not actually live on TV.
Isn't it?
Not in England.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
No.
I was planning a night down the boozer watching this one.
I mean,
leaving at half time and down the boozer anyway. I might do that anyway.
But I dare say that there are some countries around the world in which it will be live on TV, which means that there will be other countries, probably not too far from here, where it can be accessed. But the fact is that we're not going to get to watch it. We're not going to be able to go easily going to watch it. So it's going to be one of those where you might have to find something else to do around that time. Now, something else that we...
I'm wondering what that might be. Is anyone on telly tonight?
It's an FA Cup match.
Yeah, I'll watch that down the booze and watch Everton on my phone. See what happens.
Now, speaking of having other things to do, there's something that we normally like to do at this time, which is to pay a little bit of a tribute to the guys who give me these lovely hats.
Tokyo Time are partnering us throughout this season, sponsoring Talking Reds, and we're delighted they are doing so. They are a premium headwear company based here in Liverpool but represented throughout the world. Here's a really cool video that made the shows a little bit more about what they're about. They're supporting us this season, so make sure you support them.
Perfect. Thanks as ever to Tokyo Time there. Now, obviously something that has been on the forefront of most Liverpool fans' minds is this whole idea of the nerves of being in this title race. And we've had a few proclamations from Liverpool players recently talking about it. There was the interview post-match with Andy Robertson that Sky Sports did. There was another one with James Milner. Adam Lallana put out a post on his Instagram, pretty much all saying the same thing, that nerves aren't there for them at this point. There's a long way to go. They still have full confidence that they're going to be able to get over the line, and they're trying to transmit that idea to us that we shouldn't be nervous. Now, it's easier said than done, Rob. There's no denying that it's easier said than done.
Yeah.
But what does that say to you, the idea that the players appear to be so keen to put that message out to us?
Again, you can read it two ways, can't you? You can say they're worried that we're worried. If you want to be negative about it, you can say they can. I mean, Van Dijk referenced it a week or so ago. We can feel the nerves, he said. That's not good.
No.
That's not good if they can feel the nerves. I think to an extent we have to embrace being nervous a little bit. We're nervous and anxious because we've not done this before. We were talking off air beforehand. You said, I'm old enough to remember us winning leagues multiple times, and you and Neil were asking me, were you nervous in the run-ins? I went, no. And the reason was because we won the league every year, the year before that, and the year before that. Quietly, now I'm older than a lot of us who do the Anfield rap. I'm now the biggest veteran of Liverpool fucking up. I've gone 30 years of us not really delivering.
This is a very good point.
So it does make you nervous, and I think as a fan base we're entitled to be nervous until we're not. And the players, to make us not nervous, they have to rise above. They have to be better than better. That is the burden they have to live with. Simple as.
It's a very dangerous game to get into, and it's one that has become more prevalent and I don't like. It's telling people how they should be feeling. Because we're all different people. We're all experiencing it in different ways. But one place where I really do think it makes a difference is in the stands, at the games. That nervousness can have a real knock-on effect. And the way I compare it, the same way that we're wanting our players to fight through this malaise of form and just keep going. When we're at a game, for example, second half against West Ham, when they've got a packed defence in front of them, they know exactly what we're trying to do. We just need to keep going, keep believing. Fight through all of the doubts and just keep going. That's kind of what we need to do when we're in the stands, because I've been in that situation before where you're singing with your heart out, and then just as you start getting to the crescendo of the song, a ball whistles past our front post and you just go. Now, sometimes it takes your breath away, but then you need to keep going. And I feel like that's the message that we should be taking. We all just need to keep going.
Yeah, we do. I mean, but we can't kick the balls. I have to say, there's two different. If you put me in a Liverpool shirt, you put me up against Liverpool, I'll be confident, I'll be fucking useless. There won't be any nerves, I'll be calm, because I'll feel I have some measure of control. It's the same, I've got a fear of flying, but I'd be happily fly the plane, even though it'd be more dangerous with me flying it. But whilst we're powerless, we are going to be nervous.
Yeah.
This is why I'm glad we've got a really, really good manager who's also a master psychologist. This is how he gets a lesser Dortmund team across the line against the mighty Bayern Munich. How he gives those players that sense of belief in the face of doubts to get through it, to fight on, and to beat the more experienced side. It's his job, really. The truth is, the fans' contribution is to ride with waves of positivity. We've got to be given something.
This is true.
It may take getting 3-0 up against Bournemouth, and pray that happens, to get our mojo as a fan base back, but without the team we can't do it.
No, this is a very good point as well. I think it's probably time to kind of get towards the dispatches area of the show. We've kind of outlined everything we wanted to talk about otherwise.
Yeah.
Now, there are some shows coming out, as there always is, on our fantastic channel.
On Tour Player, our subscription service.
Yes.
How much is that again, Mo?
I believe that's £5 a month. Rob.
Jesus, that's cheap.
It is really cheap.
Does it work out about 17p a show?
17p a show?
Tell you what, it's giving it away. But anyway, what's on it this week?
Well, this week, or today, just for today, we've got the second look coming out on video, which is a Dan special featuring Messrs both Morgan and Austin.
It's like a tactical video thing, isn't it?
Yes,
yeah,
yes. Where we kind of pick out the bones of what really happened in the game and give it a more rounded perspective. Which
Neil moves things around a tactics board.
He loves that board.
Which is visually a stunning thing.
We've also got the Lower League show, which is always a good one to come out. It's looking forward to the final part of the season. And we've got an AFQ football, which I believe isn't this week all just about what would happen if Liverpool won the league like it was a couple of weeks ago. But it's still going to be lots of good fun, I'm sure of that.
What's AFQ football about, Mo?
Well, AFQ football is literally about anything to do with football, but it's based on what you want us to talk about. So you put in our questions, we answer said questions after having filtered out the ones that we've all heard before. So it's a really...
They ask the questions, we answer the questions.
Yes,
it's a concept, yeah.
It's very much like a Q and A. I like it.
It's good, listen to it, whatever.
Yes. One last thing we should point out is that we are going to be doing some more live shows after the roaring success we had in Edinburgh. We've got 3 shows in Ireland coming up in March, one in Galway, one in Dublin, and one in Laois. I didn't need anyone to tell me how to pronounce it because I've actually been there and it's beautiful. The tickets will be available from the individual sellers. So if you look in the description for this video, there will be all the details you need to know to go out and get those tickets. So yeah, this has been our show today. It's Wednesday. We've got 3 more days until the Bournemouth game. So go out, enjoy yourselves.